the channel. I'm Sheen. Today I'm talking about ticker symbol IMMR, which is Immersion. I believe I made two or three other videos about Immersion in the past. I think my first video was probably back in November, December, something like that. When I first started a position, and I still currently have the position. Unfortunately, I'm down like 30 or 40% on the position. There are options that expire, I believe, in May. I was up like hundreds of percent, not hundreds, like 100 and something percent, and then the stock took a dump, and now I'm down about 30-ish% on this. Look at my other videos, you'll see what the position was. But I have more insight into this company, and I'm going to share it with you guys. I think anybody that wants to invest or put any money into Immersion needs to watch this video, or at least read the 10K for yourself. But I'm going to pretty much shorten down what I read. I read the whole 10K. I listened to the conference call. So if you want to put money in this company, definitely spend 15 minutes. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but maybe 15-20 minutes, and watch this video. You're going to do yourself a lot of benefit by doing this, or you can just read the 10K for yourself. First of all, I put out a video previous to this one. I've been super busy. That's why I haven't been uploading so much on YouTube. My kids are playing football. I'm going to show you a video of my boy. He had his first scrimmage today, and he's going to have his first game next Saturday. So it is so fun watching these little kids. I find myself getting more excited watching these 6-year-old and 4-year-old, 5-year-old kids playing football than watching a real NFL or college football game. So just really love it. We spend a lot of time. It's like Monday through Thursday we're out there at practice. Saturdays we have practice as well. So I have don't have so much time looking into companies as I used to, but I hope you guys appreciate the time that I spent putting this video together, because it actually took me probably let me fix this so I don't disappear. Probably took me 6-7 hours to put this video together, including a decent amount of the research. Let me see, float on top, there we go. All right, now it won't disappear. All right, so ticker symbol IMMR. It's trading for about $9 as of the close on Friday, which is ticking back up. This went all the way down to, I believe, $8 and change. So it is coming back up in the recent days. I'll go over why that is throughout this presentation. So, this stock movement does have a reason behind it. So, first of all, this market cap on this is tiny, $279 million market cap on this company. So, very small, very tiny company. The current trailing PE is 48, which is very expensive. You guys are thinking, wow, this is a very expensive company to be buying at a 48 trailing PE. You'll notice there is no forward PE because this company has just become profitable, I believe, in the last quarter. So they went from negative profitability. I believe they were down about 20 million last year, and they were up about 5.3 million in net profits this year. So they just turned the corner to profitability. Will they stay profitable? Nobody knows, but I think they will due to all these catalysts that I'm going to talk about. So realistically, I think the forward PE for this company is probably closer to the lower 30s. Sorry, my mistake. Lower 40s or upper 30s for the forward PE. Moving into the rest of 2021 and into 2022. So it's not really that expensive for a growth company, where I think they're going to be growing into a lot of other markets, and we're going to get into that right now. So this company really has come onto the scene and into investors in the investors field, in the past past few months, with the release of the PlayStation 5 back in, I think it was like November. The PlayStation 5 controller has been all the rage. A lot of people have been talking about this controller. The haptics in this controller is next generation. It's no longer that the controller shakes or vibrates, or back in the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3 era, you get different vibrations, but this is more like tactile feedback, where you actually get senses of different context of what you're doing in the game. If you're pulling a bow and arrow, you can feel the tightness of the bow as you pull it further. You can feel the difference of walking on water, walking on glass. So the haptics on the controller are really next generation, and that has put the PlayStation 5 above par with all the other consoles. And this controller, the technology behind it is where Immersion plays, and the Immersion's technology is in this controller. So this haptics industry is growing. It has been around for years and years. We have it in our phones. Apple is one of their companies. that they work with, Samsung, Google, all the companies, pretty much every single device that you know of that has a vibration feature, something that you push and the controller vibrates, the phone shakes. This is all haptics technology, and a big part of this technology is coming from Immersion. So they're in the automotive space, they're in the mobile space, obviously, Internet of Things, which is going to be a huge growth vector in the coming years. Gaming obviously is going to continue to grow. PlayStation 5 has been fantastic, the best console ever sold in the history of consoles, and it's continuing to do well moving into 2021. And we're going to talk more about automotive and haptic hardware. So this market is expected to be nearly a $5 billion market, to total addressable market, according to ID Tech research. This is by 2025. So their technology is also coming into a lot of automotives. This is the Jeep Wagoner, and look at how many screens this thing has. There's 3 screens in the front cabin, and then there's screens all in the back. There's another 3 screens in the back. All these screens have haptic feedback. When you touch the screen and when you interact with the screen, there's vibration to let the user know that whatever you inputted has been received, by the software. And that is true for a lot of things. When you touch your phone, if you want to do a force feedback on your phone, you kind of want that feedback to know that the phone is accepting what you are inputting, and it becomes more and more important. We're going to talk more about future vehicles, and in fact Tesla vehicles. But this becomes more important when these features is not just for fun, just for entertainment, for the infotainment system, but when these features actually come into the safety of the vehicle, as well as thinking of ovens, stoves, consumer appliances, when you're dealing with fire, things like that. When you have touch sensing screens and monitors, that becomes a safety issue that you need to know as a user. You need to know that the software has taken your input. If you want to turn the stove down to a low, if you're moving the slider on these new devices that have touch screens, haptics is absolutely a must. So like I said, Tesla has a patent, has issued a patent for their new steering column and their displays. Look right here, their steering column. They removed. This is all we don't know if this is actually a lot of companies file patents and it never comes to fruition. But if this comes down the line, this is haptics, and it'll be arguable that that Immersion's technology would be in this technology, in Tesla's technology. So the steering column now has the parking, reverse, neutral, drive, etc. on the steering wheel. So you remove the stock. So instead of having a stock, it is all on the steering wheel, or it will be on the touch display. So if you want to move from park to reverse, etc., you will be doing it with touch on the display or on the steering column itself. Now this is a safety issue. You can't rely on just touching the screen or touching the steering column and just think that the software has accepted your input. You need a feedback. So when you actually put it into drive, you feel a vibration, feel a force feedback, some type of haptics that lets you know that the software of the vehicle has actually accepted what you have inputted. So this is definitely a safety issue. There's no way that automotives will not put haptics in their steering columns if they move to this technology. And like I said, Immersion would be the ones to provide this technology. Immersion is also moving into the adult industry. I'm not going to talk too much about this adult industry, but just think about it: haptics and vibration and force feedback. This is another huge growth vector that they are going to get into. They are expecting this to be by 2023 a $10 to $20 million opportunity. 10 to 20 million device opportunity. This reminds me of this movie, The Demolition Man. Just showing my age. This scene, if you've seen The Demolition Man, you'll know what I'm talking about. Haptics and vibration and the future of the adult industry. All right, so automotives, a 90 million unit TAM by 2023. PC, 170 million TAM. VR, we know virtual reality with what Facebook is doing with the virtual reality, augmented reality with Oculus. This is a massive opportunity. Another 250 million unit opportunity that they're expecting. And of course, mobile leads them all with 1.4 billion units by 2023. This company, Immersion, has successfully protected their technology for decades. They've pretty much sued and successfully sued all the big giants in the industry, including Apple. Apple and Immersion reached licensing agreement over their touch, their 3D touch, their haptics, all the vibration in the devices back in iPhone 10, 11, and before that had any vibration in it. This was all from technology that was patented by Immersion. So they were sued by Immersion, and they successfully sued Apple. And so currently they are working with Apple, producing Apple devices. They sued Google and won that lawsuit as well. They sued Fitbit, won that lawsuit as well. They sued Samsung, won that lawsuit as well. And let me just read this. The recent settlement between Immersion and Samsung may be the largest in a string of good news for tech innovators. Immersion's patent infringement case against Samsung was a classic example of an underdog standing tall against a much larger opponent. Samsung is the world's second largest tech company, valued at about $300 billion. Immersion is a leader in the growing haptics field and was roughly 1/1000th size of Samsung. And the suit brought Samsung to the bargaining table. They sued Microsoft and Sony back in 2012 with the PS2, PS1 controllers. They successfully sued Sony as well. So Sony and Microsoft were sued by Immersion. Nintendo was not, and I highlighted this in red for a reason. So let me just read. Nintendo was not involved in this lawsuit because the technology in Nintendo, the Rumble Pack and the Game controller and the Wii Remote controller was on a different patent design that was held by Nintendo. But I'm going to show you in a couple of other slides. In the new Nintendo Switch, do you think Nintendo used their own patents for their Nintendo Switch, for their controller, for the next generation controller? No, they used Immersion's technology. They partnered with Immersion for their new the Switch controllers. So that just shows you how strong the Immersion's technology is. It is years beyond what any other company has. And this is the perfect example. Nintendo has patents for vibration technology, but they didn't use their own patents. They used Immersion's patents. All right. While Microsoft settled out of the court and Microsoft purchased a 10% stake in Immersion, Sony continued to defend the case. Sony lost the case, and the jury awarded $82 million for that case. Sony appealed the decision and then was able to sell the products. But in March of 2006, Sony lost the appeal as well, and now Sony has been working with Immersion ever since for the PlayStation 4 controllers and now the PlayStation 5 controllers. So like I said, the biggest of the bigs all work with Immersion: Sony, Samsung, LG, all these companies, Nintendo, Panasonic, and of course Apple. But Apple, nobody is able to claim Apple as a company in their own investor presentation. So that's why Apple's not here. But rest assured, Apple is a company that Immersion does work with. All right, let's look at their numbers. Total revenues, this is 2019 versus 2020. You'll see that they went from roughly 56 million, 36 million down to 30 million. So the revenues actually went down. But what is more interesting is look at their general and administrative costs. They went from roughly 43 million down to 18 million. So they really cut costs, really, are tightening down their company, and therefore they were able to reach profitability. They went from a negative 20 million in 2019 to a positive 5.4 million in 2020. So the net income is what's really impressive here, and I believe this number is actually going to go up because this is the last quarter of 2020, and the PlayStation controller the PlayStation 5 didn't get released until I think it was November of 2020. So it was really the last quarter. So I think this number is significantly going to go up in the next coming quarters and the rest of 2021. So they're going to be much more profitable in 2021. Just what I think. So this is their balance sheet. So in 2019, they went from 86 million on the balance sheet down to 59 million. And since I read the 10K, I've been following doing more research in the company. This decline in their cash was actually due to a share buyback that they did when the shares were about $7-8. So they bought back shares because it was a cheap price, and they bought it back about $7-8 on average, and that's why their cash went down. But their cash actually is roughly up to 90 million now because they actually just closed their funding because they actually sold back those shares to the market for I think about $12 just last month or just 2 months ago. So actually a very good decision. They bought their shares back in 2019 for about $7-8. They just sold it back for about $11 on average in February of 2021. So obviously a fantastic decision about the company, and they are back up to about $90 million in cash. So what is this? This is the what I was just talking about. So as of March 3rd, 2021, they sold 3.3 million of their common stock and received about 36 million. So they actually have more than $90 million in cash. Next one, Immersion. So this is exactly when they sold. They did their offering. So let me go back one. Let me go back one slide. So you'll see February 11th, 2021. That's when they talked about their sale of their stock up to 50 million. They're expecting to get up to 50 million. They only did 36 because they decided to only sell 3.3 million of their share. But this is in February 11th, and coincidentally, that is when the stock price went down. It was up to $15, and the stock tumbled down. And of course, there was a market sell-off as well back in February and March. So that didn't help either. But that is when their stock price went down. So now that they've closed this as of March 3rd. This is completely done. So this is their price is rebounding right now. That's why it was back up to about $9, and it's actually climbing. So some things I do want to talk about. Some concerns and so why I think this company is still a kind of a speculative company. So although they do work with all the biggest of the bigs, Apple, LG, Google, Sony, Samsung, etc. They're although they do work with the biggest of the bigs, Apple, Google, Samsung, etc., Panasonic, and they also do work with Microsoft. But the thing with Microsoft is that their license with Microsoft is actually a what do they call it? A fixed license is what it is. So they don't have any royalties. So basically, Microsoft is able to use their technology. They already paid a set amount. I don't know what it was or when they paid it, but they are not able to collect any royalties. So essentially, Microsoft, if they decide to put the haptics in their next generation controllers for the Xbox, Immersion will not see a penny of that. And so that is a big negative when it comes to Immersion stock, because the PlayStation 5 controller is so impressive that Xbox is wanting to do the same thing in their controllers. And if they do, the controllers will sell well. Xbox, arguably is the number one or maybe the number two player in the console game. Immersion will not see a dime of that money for those controllers if the Xbox does do that. So that is a big negative for Immersion. I'm not going to read this, but this is basically what I'm talking about. Because of the fixed license agreement with Microsoft, or royalty revenue from licensing in the gaming market and other consumer markets has previously declined and may further do so if Microsoft increases its volume of sales of touch-enabled devices at the expense of other licenses. So it's pause this video if you want to read this, but basically Microsoft is able to use Immersion technology for free. Not for free, they already paid for it, but Immersion won't get any additional revenue or income if Microsoft expands into the haptics game. Another concern, limited customers, because they have a limited customer. Even though they have the biggest of the big, only the top four of the companies makes up like 90% of their revenue. So for example, the year ending in December 2020, Samsung accounted for a significant amount of our total revenues. I'm going to show you a percentage in just a minute. So right here, they don't specifically say, but they just said in the previous slide, customer A accounts for roughly 40% of their revenues, which is Samsung. Customer B, C, and D, 33%, 15%, 10%. So if they lose either customer A or customer B, for whatever reason, this company is going to be hurting. The stock is going to crash. So that is a very, very high risk. If they lose, even if they lose customer C, 15% of their revenues, that could be devastating for the company. So that's why I still put this as a speculative play. Definitely nothing that I would go all in on. Also, let me move myself. Also, they just their CEO just left in November 2020. So they have an interim CEO. They're looking for a CEO. So we don't know how the new CEO is going to take the company, where the vision of the new CEO is. So that is a area of concern as well. And is that my last slide? That is my last slide. So guys, pretty much those are all the key points of Immersion, ticker symbol IMMR. I think it is a very speculative play because of those last two reasons. Customers, they have only four. Their top customers are the biggest of the four. If they lose any one of those, this stock could be devastated. Their CEO, who knows what's going to happen with their CEO? Who knows what the new CEO is going to take? What direction the new CEO is going to take the company? And this Microsoft issue. Microsoft is a huge player when it comes to controllers, gaming, and the accessories for gaming. And if they decide to do haptics in all the controllers, Immersion's not going to see a dime of that. So guys, let me know if you found some value in this video. I know it's not like a flashy video, like stock that I'm buying, etc. But I did do a lot of research into this company. If you're looking to invest in this company, consider all those things that I talked about. This market is growing. The haptics market is definitely growing. In the next 3-4 years, I think we're going to see a lot of haptics in automotive, and that is going to be a huge driver. So guys, please give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Consider subscribing if you haven't yet already. Catch you next one. Have a fantastic week. Have a fantastic weekend. Peace.